we're now at the point where, if you don't mind, I'm going to record you telling us this because I think you're being treated beyond abysmally. Can you just grab that, Rach? I'm just going to. So you're on speakerphone now. So just to get this right, Talbot's Law have told you that a server has gone down. It's not their fault. Now
it's a criminal server, and it's affecting other people that use the server, and also other completions which today. There's basically nothing they can do about it.
So have you been able to confirm? Have Talbot's told you if you've even exchanged contracts on house yet?
Oh, I'm pretty sure we haven't.
So the solicitor acting for your buyer of May Lane has sent all the money for May Lane, but hasn't exchanged on it.
Well, apparently they requested to exchange and complete on the same day because the lad that's buying the house, the money was in some ISA. I don't know the details. Obviously, it's not my information, but they weren't sure that they would get the money in time. So they wanted to exchange and complete on the same day. So again, that's not Talbot's fault. It's the purchaser's solicitor's fault.
Do you know which solicitor that is?
No, I don't.
So the solicitor acting for your buyer has forced you to simultaneously exchange and complete. And they've sent the money, but haven't yet exchanged.
As far as I know, because as I said to you earlier, she said that I'd have to stay in the house overnight because it's still mine, obviously.
So, and has the solicitor at Talbot's told you that you can stay in the house tonight?
Well, I need to confirm with her because, as I said, she's speaking to my. She was speaking to my seller of the property I'm moving into, solicitor.
But and she hasn't taken into account the fact there's no food in the house, no furniture, no bed, no nothing.
Basically, she's saying it's not it's not Talbot's fault because it's a communal server.
But Talbot's advised you, obviously, that you're moving house today, and therefore you had to fully move out this morning.
Yeah.
And now they're telling you that you're going to be homeless overnight, and it's not your fault. And it's not their fault, rather.
Okay. Well, that's basically the gist of it.
So when you asked them about compensation for this, that's what she said. Well, it's not our fault.
Thank you. Look forward to speaking to you.
That was she didn't say it directly, but that was the implication. Because I said I've already paid in excess of £1,000 removal costs, and basically she was saying. If a server went down that affected me and I didn't receive an email, it wouldn't be my fault if I didn't receive an email. She's basically blaming it all on the service provider of the server.
Just a question, but has anybody at Talbot Law either expressed any concern for your well-being on this, or
not at all yet, no.
Or any concern for the fact that they're telling you? An older lady with a cat to consider, that in a house that's empty with no food, no furniture, no bed, no TV, no nothing, that they haven't expressed any concern for the fact that you literally have nowhere to sleep tonight. Have they used any words of empathy for your situation?
Well, other than the sort of like a business, we're sorry, but
have they said sorry?
Down. The server's down.
They haven't said sorry as in sorry for your predicament?
Not yet, no.
I'm astounded by the lack of care. So it's now 12 minutes past 3. You've had to do all the chasing with Talbot's. And they've told you that you may or may not be able to buy your new house tomorrow morning.
That's right, yeah, definitely. Yeah, she said if the server's still down, then it may not go ahead tomorrow.
So she's basically said that you're homeless and you've no idea when you're going to have somewhere to sleep.
Hi, Rachel speaking.
Well, effectively.
Yes, we did.
I mean, I understand that Talbot's server is down, but they haven't expressed any concern for you.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, fine.
2, they haven't advised you to move back into May Lane, have they?
No, not yet, no.
Because we could, it's a very late call to make, but we could do that for you if you wanted us to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I need to speak to her again because I don't really want to, you know what I mean? That wouldn't be my first choice, especially if it's all going to go ahead again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't really want everything unloaded and brought back in and reloaded again tomorrow.
And especially not as it turns out the solicitor acting for your buyer has put a deadline of 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to complete. Which means
they want the funds back if we can't complete, by 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
So that means in theory, you would have to move back in now, but then book us again for tomorrow and be back out of the house before 10 o'clock.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
No, me neither.
I think that that was the deadline for the funds, for the funds being returned to my buyer's solicitor.
But even then, Talbots are still happy for you to wake up in the morning, literally not knowing if you're supposed to move house again or not.
Yeah. Oh yes, I mean she was quite clear that they may not be able to complete tomorrow if their server's still down.
I don't know what to say. I'm a little astounded at the position that you're being left in.
Well, I'm losing the will to live, but I'll phone her back. And,
well, it doesn't sound like...
I was getting to the point where I was just about to say that I was going to give you authority to speak to her when she said, what do you want to do? Do you want me to speak to the solicitor and ring you back? So that's what I agreed to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to... I mean, we've got all of your worldly possessions on our vehicle, and we will look after them and you in any way we can.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, should we be bringing the crew back here now and effectively locking the vehicle down for the night? I mean, your solicitor will say that you've got the option to move back into your house, but that's a cold, ruthless, and fairly idiotic lack of empathy, to be honest. Because it's not as easy as that, because you then have to unpack and get all the beds made up and then somehow be expected to move out again tomorrow morning. I mean, if Talbot's server has gone down, they should be insured for this, and they should have been offering you accommodation overnight. And at the very least, they should have agreed to cover your additional moving fees. And they haven't done that either, have they?
No. Let me speak to her again, and I'll put it to her what you know about you having the stuff overnight and what's going to happen, or moving back in. I'll put it to her.
Yeah.
Are you still happy to speak to her?
Oh, I'm more than happy to speak to her.
Okay, I'll give her a bell back and see what's going on.
I will assist you in any way I can, and I'm more than happy to speak to her and ask her and see if we can calculate the real world ramifications of seemingly a lack of preparedness on their part.
Okay, well, I'll give her a ring back and I'll give you a bell.
All right, thank you. Speak to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
I was telling you earlier that now my buyer solicitor is in agreement to make a decision at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. The guy that's selling the flat is happy. All the solicitors are happy to make a decision at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. She can't advise me either way on whether I should ask you to store the furniture or whether I should ask you to unpack. That's my decision and my decision only, basically, is what she said.
Oh, really?
I told her that I've authorised you to speak to her. She said if you could call her either now or in an hour's time because she's going into a meeting.
What phone number is she on?
Let me. It's 01384
Mm-hmm.
44771.
Okay.
But I've told her that I'm authorising you to speak to her, and otherwise it looks like, well, that if you can keep the stuff till at least tomorrow, even if we have to unload it tomorrow. I don't believe this is happening.
How are you?
I'm stressed and upset now. It's crazy.
And has Manisha Suman expressed any concern for your position or emotional well-being?
No, she just said it's up to me what I tell you. She can't advise me to either ask you to store it or to unload it because it may not go ahead tomorrow because the server's down and it may still be down tomorrow.
So Talbots clearly think this is an acceptable way for their clients to move or not move house.
It's crazy because I know, I mean this is an aside, but I know my buyer's mortgage offer expires tomorrow.
So the solicitor acting for your buyer has clearly drawn the mortgage funds down without an exchange of contracts and has sent all those funds over without an exchange of contracts.
As far as I know, yeah, because she said they'd exchange and complete tomorrow.
And you can't remember which solicitor or your buyer's got?
No, I don't know.
Okay. And how
I would never know.
Because obviously I'm recording.
All my legal paperwork is on your van.
Yeah.
All I kept was Northwoods, the estate agent's number, Manesh Suman's number. You know, I've got all the people I thought I'd need to contact, but obviously I know the name of my buyer, but I don't know what his solicitor's name is.
Okay. How long's it? And how long?
No reason.
How long's it been since?
Is there?
No, there isn't. How long's it been since you last moved house?
I've been in this house 31 years.
Okay. I haven't mentioned your name on any of these phone calls because I'm recording them, and I have already put recordings up on YouTube on my channel to express just how woefully inadequate this system is. So these might go up on there, and I will no doubt record Manisha Suman as well. This is not on. Would you like me to try and find a category and a number for a category for you now?
Well, if you give me a number, I'll try and sort it out. If not, I'll have to take the cat with me to my daughter's. I haven't. I mean, yeah, she basically said, going back to, she said, oh, there must be somewhere you can go.
She said that?
Yeah, she said, there must be somewhere you can go. Because I said, I'm sitting here in a completely empty house, no services, no food. I haven't even got cat food. You've got the cat food.
So just to and this is Manisha Suman at Talbot's Law.
Yeah, yeah.
And forgive me for asking you this, bearing in mind it's anonymous, because I haven't said your name. May I ask how old you are?
67.
So currently 67 in an empty house with a cat. Your only place you could possibly stay tonight, the chap that's there is allergic to cats. So it's not an ideal solution.
No, it's not an ideal solution, but they would have me. They wouldn't leave me here with no bed or anything.
And in the knowledge of the position you're in, Talbot's Law didn't even offer to put you up in a Premier Inn or a travel lodge.
They're basically saying it's not their fault. They're saying it's the fault of the fact that their server is down, that a number of businesses will be affected, and a number of people in the same position as me will be affected today. And basically get on with it. That was the
the gist of it.
the gist of it was, I can't tell you what to do. Just get on with it.
How pleasant. How wonderfully pleasant.
She did say she was going into a meeting and she wouldn't be available for an hour.
Could you ring Cavan and ask them to bring that vehicle back here? Right, your possessions will be fully insured while they're with us. They'll be safe while they're with us. Have you got a pen? And because I'm more concerned about the cat than I am Talbot's Law. I've got a couple of numbers here for you.
Okay, thank you.
The first one is 01564
11564
823 213, and that's Brislingcote Farm Boarding Cattery, which is in Withall, so not too far from where you.
What's it called, Brisling?
It's called Brislingcote, Brizlin.
Make your way back to the yard.
Brislingcote, Brislingcote. In Whistle, I know where that is. My daughter keeps a horse in Whistle.
Okay, and then I've got another one in Withall as well, which is Holly Trees.
Holly Trees.
And that's 01564
01564
823 244.
244. Brilliant. Okay, I'll give them a call.
If you get stuck at any point, give me a shout and I'll assist you in any way I can.
Yeah, don't worry. What I'll do is, well, as I said, at the end of the day, my daughter and her partner wouldn't leave me or the cat homeless. It's not that.
No.
But
I don't think the same can be said for Talbot's Law, can it?
Well, they said it seemed to be another day at the office, to be honest. And their main inconvenience is their servers down.
I'm astonished by the lack of empathy and the lack of care. To be honest with you, I mean, it's the lack of care for your position that concerns me. But
I'm just worried because, as I said, I know that my buyer mortgage offer expires tomorrow, and he had already indicated that because of the massive increase, because of all the political changes, that he couldn't afford another £400-500 a month, which is why he wanted to complete before tomorrow. And I'm just, what if the whole chain collapses?
Well, it
because
could.
Of this?
It could. That's true. It could. But for now, you need to think about you. Start making preparations for this evening.
I will. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that isn't a problem. I'll just see, because it'd be better for the cat if she was in a cattery, given the circumstances. Given we've got to go through all this again tomorrow.
But essentially, I mean, yeah. I tell you what, let's look after the cat and you, and then I will give this woman a call, and we'll take it from there, and we'll wait to hear from you then tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right then.
If you need me for anything, or this office for anything in the next couple of hours or so, don't hesitate, give us a call.
Okay, well, I'll just try and sort out the cattery.
Yeah. All right. And if neither of those can help, give me a call back and I'll find some more for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Take care. Speak to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Oh, they answer the phone quick at Talbot's Law, don't they?
Yeah.
Hello, Talbot Law, Joy speaking.
Hello, is Manisha Suman there, please?
She's in a meet at the moment. Is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah, we're the moving company acting for one of your clients today, and the client's homeless. And we were just hoping to. Manisha Suman was expecting this call, just to find out what the options are and what we should be doing.
Yeah, sure. What's the property address, please?
What's the what? Sorry, the address.
Yes, please. Or the client's name.
The address is May Lane, Kings Heath.
Yeah, sure. I know which one you mean. So I believe we are actually. Let me just double check with my colleague just to see what's going on with this one. I'll be 1 second.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Calm and happy music there.
Hi, thank you for waiting.
It's all right.
We are going to be completing on the sale and purchase tomorrow.
Yeah, this lady's obviously homeless.
No, because on her sale on May Lane, she still owns the property.
She does, but she can't really live in it with no food, bed, or anything else for that matter. It's a bare property.
Yeah.
And we just kind of wondered, I presume Talbots are insured for this, and therefore can Talbots not put her up in a hotel overnight?
Let me double check that with my supervisor. I'll be 1 second.
That'd be great, thanks. I'm guessing they don't like that question. It's 20 to 4. I'm old for a little while with this one, aren't I? Are Talbots insured for if their server fails? Why don't they have a backup plan if they're supposed to be getting people into their new homes on that day? How is it that her house has been paid for? Because that's not what that lady said. Have they exchanged contracts or not? And why haven't they displayed any empathy towards that lady's position? And why am I still on hold? And let's see if they've actually got the brass balls to advise what their clients should really do in the real world. Because it would seem as though they're advising a 67-year-old lady to sleep on the cold floor of her old house.
Hi, thank you for waiting.
Hello!
I spoke to our supervisor, and they said that basically because we haven't exchanged, it's the date of completed today wasn't legally binding.
Okay,
So,
but
we can't provide a hotel.
but Talbots did advise the client today was the day of completion and therefore to move out of a house.
Yeah.
So just to clarify that, Talbots told the client to move out of the house. It's all gone completely wrong, and then Talbots are saying it's not our fault.
Well, no, not. Well, obviously, it's because our system's going down. It's just that the date wasn't legally binding because we haven't exchanged.
Yeah, I'm aware of. But yet you are in receipt of funds for the property at May Lane.
Yeah, but
which is
late in the day to get it out and exchanged on the purchase as well.
So obviously you're probably aware that the lady's authorised me to talk on her behalf. Which solicitors or conveyancers are acting for the purchase of May Lane?
Let me have a quick look. It is Touchwood Solicitors.
Touchwood Solicitors. So Touchwood Solicitors have drawn down the mortgage funds and sent them without exchange of contracts having occurred.
Yeah.
You can't really do that, can you?
No, you can, because then on receipt of funds, you then typically exchange.
But we're not exchanging.
No, we can't, because our system's still down, so we can't send any
So
funds out.
what's Talbot's position about a 67-year-old lady with a cat with nowhere to go, who's moved out of the house on the grounds that Talbot's told her today would be completion day and therefore she should do so, and the position that she is now massively out of pocket? And if Talbot's server's gone down, why isn't this a claim against Talbot's insurance?
I mean, this isn't something like that normally happens when we don't have issues with our system like this.
No, I accept that. No, I accept that. I mean, I am wondering why there isn't any sort of a backup plan. But I'm wondering what Talbot's position is that this elderly lady who has not moved house for decades should do, bearing in mind that she now doesn't have a house. She has a house that she owns that cannot be slept in, she can't move back into, and how is she going to afford another £1,000 to move house? I'm just wondering what Talbot's position on that is. I mean, if the answer is we don't really care, that's fine, as long as. But the situation currently is that there is a 67-year-old lady with a cat in a house. She's extremely distraught and extremely upset. She doesn't know where she's going to sleep tonight. All of her worldly possessions are on a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
And Talbot's couldn't tell her if she should move back into a house or not. Manisha Thuman said it's her decision to take. It's basically nothing to do with Talbot's. But Talbot's did tell her to move out of a house. And yet now there's no responsibility being taken for the consequences. I'm just wondering what Talbot's position on that is, especially as all of the conversations we've had with your client are recorded, as is this one, and will all be up on YouTube within about 3 hours.
Okay.
To go with all the other recordings that we have from over the years that are just displaying the woeful, inadequate nature of the way conveyancing is being performed. But my concern right now is the 67-year-old lady with a cat who's struggling to find a cattery, who doesn't know where she's going to sleep, who doesn't know if she's going to move house tomorrow, who doesn't know how she's going to afford to do so. And Talbots have turned around and said, well, it's up to you. I don't mean to have a go at you, my lady, because I know this isn't anything to do with you. You're just the unfortunate soul that's picked up the phone to me. But does this strike you as fair?
I mean, no, of course not. I mean, it's a horrible situation for her to be in. Let me just speak to my supervisor. Give me 1 second.
I think somebody senior at Talbots needs to be aware that this is going to be plastered up on YouTube.
Yeah, of course. Give me 1 second.
The very least they should be doing is putting that lady in a hotel and paying for the cattery. The very least. For the record of this recording while I'm on hold, I don't care about us as a company billing this lady any additional fees. I'm not bothered. I am bothered about this utterly inadequate system that I've put recordings up before that the HSBG group is supposed to have been addressing, and instead it fannies around dealing with making the process easier for themselves when the public are the ones that are suffering. And right now we've got this 67-year-old lady with a cat moved out of a house. It's now 3:45. Her possessions are coming back here. She doesn't have any underwear. She doesn't have any personal items. She's got a cat and a car, and now she's suddenly got to find a cattery. And her conveyancing solicitors, who told her to move out of the house today, who told her to simultaneously exchange and complete, they don't care. And on the back of this, we had this last Friday. We had a simultaneous exchange and complete fail at 10 o'clock in the morning. Thank you, Glover Priest, for that one. We've got 2 clients on our books today who have been told they might... Oh, hello!
I've just spoke to your manager and they said that basically we can either take your number and one of the managers will call you, or we can send you the complaints procedure when our systems are back online.
I know the complaints procedure. I know it well. I know it goes through 6 to 8 weeks of you guys before it can possibly be escalated to the SRA. And I'm aware of how soul destroying that process is and how it will get pretty much nowhere. So that's fine. Yeah.
Do you want me to take your number and ask the manager to call you back?
Yeah, you're welcome to take my number. I mean, I doubt anybody will call, which is fine. That's fine. It's 0121
Yeah.
705
Yeah.
2323.
Yeah.
Be nice if Manisha Suman could give us a bell.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Tell us.
Do that.
Maybe she can explain why she's displayed zero empathy and why her language on the phone has left this lady almost crying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no problem. I will ask Manish to give you a ring.
And thank you for clarifying the details of the solicitors who draw down the mortgage funds without the exchange and sent them on, because I think the bank's going to want to hear about that.
Yeah. I mean, it is normal procedure though.
Well, it's something that has to happen if you're simultaneously exchanging and completing, I grant you, which is stupidity in itself. But I do think the bank's probably going to want to know about their practices. Because right now, the bank's money is out on a property that hasn't been bought.
Yeah.
And they have no guarantee that you'll be in a position to send that money back. No. And then if it all collapses, which it could do,
I mean, obviously,
the bank's mortgage funds. Yeah, no, I accept that. But currently, the bank's money has been drawn down. It's been sent. There is no exchange of contracts. So currently that bank has a mortgage out on a property that it has no security against. That's not wrong, is it?
No, but that is just like the standard procedure for a simultaneous exchange and completion.
That happens at the same time. But it's not simultaneous now, is it? We're now in the situation where the bank's got a mortgage against the property and doesn't have any security for it.
Yeah.
And it is all getting wildly off the track. That this poor lady is sat in an empty, cold house with a cat, trying to find a cattery for a cat tonight, and then having to sort out where she's going to sleep. And the most reassurance she's had from Talbot's is you may or may not complete tomorrow. Oh, and P.S. It's not our fault, and we're not going to assist you in any way whatsoever.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bond.
I mean, I'm terribly sorry, my dear. I don't mean to lay all this at your feet, and you probably regret answering the phone, and I don't blame you if you do. But I can hear it in the tone of your voice that you're not disagreeing with me.
I mean,
I know.
I'll pass your details on to like my supervisor, Manisha.
Yeah, that's all right.
Give you a ring back.
That's absolutely fine. I apologise if I've made your afternoon a little bit shit and a little bit uncomfortable. I haven't, you know, I know it's nothing to do with you.
No, it's fine. It's completely understandable.
But Talbots will soon pay attention when this is all up on YouTube. Thank you for talking to me, my dear. Have a great day.
That's okay. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, Manisha. You're speaking to Matt.
Hi, yeah. I believe you called earlier about Michael Jordan.
I did.
Yeah, and I think, did you request a call back?
Well, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to give any further answers. We're still a bit horrified and disgusted at the way the client's being treated.
The transaction hasn't even completed, so the client is aware of it. We have spoken to her. All the solicitors are aware of it, and they understand the situation.
I'm so wonderfully pleased for the solicitors, but are you aware that there's a 67-year-old woman in a bare house with nothing in it apart from her and a cat? And
yeah, so we did ask her, so the onus is on her, it's entirely up to her what she decides to do. The transaction, the solicitors, because the funds cannot go out, we haven't exchanged it, so nothing is legally binding. No transaction is legally binding until we exchange contracts.
That's correct,
That's
but did Talbot's not advise this woman that she should move out of her house today?
She is aware of it.
No, that's not what I asked.
Authority.
Did Talbot's basically tell this woman that she should be moving out of her house today?
Subject to exchanging contracts. We
Right.
haven't exchanged contracts.
So did you at any point give her the advice that she should not move out of her house until she has exchanged contracts?
Yeah, she's aware of that because the funds haven't come in yet. We cannot exchange contracts until the funds are sent to us from the solicitors from the firm that are acting on behalf of her buyer.
But you're in receipt of those funds and you haven't exchanged contracts.
Because we cannot exchange, because we need a release. They cannot provide us a release because the funds cannot go out to the purchase transaction. They need to provide us with a release. They're not providing us with a release because the funds cannot go out.
Yeah, okay. As far as your client goes, have you considered the position that she's in?
She's aware of it, of course we have, but we cannot get the funds out, so we can complete.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the funds. I'm talking about the fact.
Can I speak, please?
Have you expressed any empathy with her whatsoever?
Okay, can I speak, or I'm going to terminate the call if you don't allow me to speak.
Carry on, because all the calls this far are going on YouTube.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Carry on.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay, I'm listening.
Perfect. So she can complete on a sale, but then she's got nowhere to stay. She's been informed that she can go into accommodation, she can put the stuff back into the property if she wants to, and we can complete on a different day. She is aware of it. The options have been provided to her. It's entirely up to her how she wishes to proceed.
So, okay, so this lady is massively out of pocket. How do you expect her to be able to afford to pay the costs to move house again?
Because she's got the money from her sale.
Okay, so your position is because Talbots have failed on her today, because she's got money.
Because we haven't exchanged contracts. I don't think you understand the fact we have not exchanged contracts. Nothing is legally binding until we exchange contracts. So I'll be speaking to my client. And please do not contact us directly. If you wish to put anything forward, it's directly through our client.
Well, your client's authorised me to talk to you.
No, we haven't got that in writing from her. She can send that to us in writing.
Did you give it to her in writing that she should not move out of her house until she's exchanged contracts, and yet you're going to simultaneously exchange?
It's all detailed to her because we've got her verbal authority. She provided us with verbal authority. We've got that from her. She confirmed it, and it's all recorded, just like this conversation is right now.
Yeah, I'm recording it as well because it's going on YouTube.
That's great. Is there anything else that I can help you with?
Yeah, you can explain to me why this lady's crying on the phone and telling me that and there you go. That is conveyancers. That's conveyancers now. She's a bundle of joy, isn't she? And yeah, that's the crew that unfortunately have brought this lady's possessions back. Unbelievable. That's the level that we're dealing with. Wonderful, wonderful service.